Good morning, world. Hey, Inspired Tribe. Welcome to the Live Inspired Livestream on the original Inspired channel. It is Tuesday, September 22nd. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. This is Livestream number 87. We've been doing this since March. It's crazy how time flies. And we're so excited to be back on the original Inspired channel. We've been doing this on the Inspired Tribe channel meanwhile, but we're back here and it's a good energy, good feeling. And we're excited to see you guys. Hey, Illy, how's it going? We're just going to wait for everyone to jump on. We have a very expansive, cool story for you guys today. Actually, we just talked about it the other day. Sometimes we forget how amazing synchronistic our life stories are, how things happen. You know, we always want to see, hey, Black Sky, how's it going? I'm sorry, the internet is, it says it keeps reconnecting. I believe it's YouTube. Yes, please do hit the like button, you know, the thumbs up button. It helps us to be suggested to more of our subscribers. And someone said the other day that the new, you know, all the social media platforms, YouTube, the video platforms, you know, we, of course, experienced a lot of censorship, especially in the last month. It has gone up to 11 million videos a month deleted. That's confirmed. So there might be even more. But what we also see happening is these platforms, broader awareness and higher consciousness for this, you know, for the reason that it's not that so many new people are jumping on, but so many of the existing users of the social media platforms are expanding, are shifting, are transforming, and they're bringing this transformation to the platforms, to their posts. And, you know, they can't ban all of us because, you know, they would run out of customers, run out of users. So that's what's happening. So we're slowly and surely infusing the platforms with love, with higher consciousness, with truth, with authenticity. Of course, it takes a little for them to catch up with it, the technology. And that's not even, I mean, we have never seen this much malfunction in connection and technology as in the past months, whether that's cameras going out, you know, unspeak stuff that's been going on. And we don't believe it's necessary because the technology is overpowered, because it's, you know, it was designed to do what it does. We believe it's the energy, the frequency that simply overwhelms the structure, and then, you know, it's well for it to catch up again. Hey, I'm going to jump into the topic of today in just a little bit. We're going to let some people jump on. It takes a while for everyone to get their notifications and to be here. So, but there's this. So there's a thing that YouTube does. So they, just in terms of tactics, you know, since the new leadership of YouTube has come in a few years ago, things have changed drastically. YouTube used to be a really amazing free platform. Now, granted, there was some stuff on here that, because it's really truly hateful or really truly extremely violent, stuff like that. But for the most part, it was a wonderful representation of everything that's out there, and so you could feel your way through it, and that was amazing. And then new leadership came in, and then of course YouTube started censoring a lot of stuff. But what we see is that they use some bogus rules to either delete a channel completely, simply either don't take the time. I can just tell you, between the time when when our channel was this, at least 50 emails. And it almost seems like there was obstruction, you know, all across, all along the way, in terms of, you know, stuff was lost. YouTube lost a lot of things, lost my emails, lost my notes, and but it doesn't matter. We're back, and we always knew we were going to be back. And so we just showed up whenever there was a need to show up and let it be completely. As you can tell, you know, we didn't talk about it a lot on our other channel on Facebook. We knew this has to happen. Everything is harmonizing, and I love this word. That's the harmonizing process that's taking place. And today we would like to talk to you and tell you a story, a very, very synchronistic story that we just the other day, we took a walk and we talked about it, how big it all unfolded. We didn't even realize when it happened at the time. And we sometimes don't realize how everything is connected. But before we do that, Inspired Tribe, and this is a story that you really want to hear because it shows that truly anything is possible if you are connected and if you are at the right place at the right time. So that's really significant. And that one you can't figure out with algorithms. That one you can't figure out with analytics. You have to trust the source that guides you to do that. So let's do that before we tell the story. Let's breathe just for a few moments here. Become present. Why is it important to do that? We go through our days, after a morning practice, we jump right into we take care of things, our brains, we're in our heads, and we sometimes forget our hearts. And I know this happens for all of us, and before we know it, we only really realize it when we don't feel good at all anymore. And then it just doesn't feel good anymore, and then we have a more challenging time. There's just a longer path back to the heart. So let's do this now while YouTube is trying to destabilize us here. Just when you hear my voice, close your eyes and focus on the center of your chest, the solar plexus. You're going to do this for a few moments here because once we do this, we're all reconnected. We can communicate on a much grander level. So everyone who's tuning in, just close your eyes for a few moments, let go of the keyboard, don't worry about anything. Center of your chest. It's one of the most important energy centers in your body, one of the most important chakras. And with every breath you take, open it up. Just imagine how a big window in your chest is opening. And there's a tremendous bright light shining right out of your chest. Out of your solar plexus. You can put your hand there. And breathe into it and know that this is your true, unique energy. Open, 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 open that energy center and allow for your light to shine. With every breath you take, you're letting that light permeate. Invite your creator in, invite source, invite all of your, however, spirit animals or spirit guides, whatever you want to call them, invite them in. And set the intention to give and receive, to comprehend and understand on a deeper level, to connect to the field of infinite possibilities. Yes, open that heart of yours, that beautiful, unique, amazing heart of yours. And in your own time, in your own pace. Guys, we're experiencing a few it's a little unstable here. Hey, Black Sky, I just noticed your comment are going to be looking for you on the other page. So we're doing our best to send out the communication with to everyone that's following on every channel. Unfortunately, the other channel doesn't have a community page, but we might do a quick video and let them know to jump on over here. That's a good idea. So so yeah, you know, that's just we can't go simultaneously live on both channels, so that's why we're here. But yeah, thank you for making us aware. That's a good idea to put up a video so everyone knows we're back on the original channel. Now let's I'm sorry the stream is breaking up, guys. Internet connection is perfect. It's really not on our part. It's just YouTube doing what YouTube does. I'm gonna wait a moment here until the reconnectionist thing. The other day, I was trying to do something on the Xfinity website, and it kept saying, "Try to connect again, unknown source." And I thought, "What you mean unknown source? That's the source here." So yeah, let's talk about this stories in the moment. It was spelled backwards, and I like to do things like that. Just to catch your eye a little bit and see, well, maybe you come up, maybe you see the solution. So this story I'm talking about a lot lately, it's about listening to your guidance, listening to the higher self, the being, the source energy that is always there. And it was about it was in 2012, and I had it had been 2 years since I'd released my first album, and I was touring and I was playing a lot of music. And Kristin and I had decided at that time, like absolutely 100% decided that we wanted to live in the States and come here and live in Nashville. And so at that time, it was very chaotic in the music industry and record industry. Everything started shifting. No one really knew where things were going. And Kristin and I both had the hunch, actually it was Kristin that once again came out of a meditation, I believe, and said, why don't we connect with an investor, someone that is excited about what you do and do it on our own and not even do this with a record label. And I had been with a record label and had been a good time, but it was a perfect step to take. And we're doing research, we were creating videos for people, and it's really all very inspired work. What had happened in the same year, a very prominent immigrated to Canada in the 50s and built a huge multi-billion-dollar business in Canada and the US and all around the planet. And he kind of came back to Austria, where he hadn't been living, but just visiting, and wanted to create a political movement, or actually kind of a little bit of a revolutionary movement to heal the political landscape. He was fed up with the system, with the corruption, with all those things, and he came with a very positive vibe, with a very positive, energetic idea, although he was in his early 80s. But he just came as someone who said, you know what, I've been doing this for so long, I've been in business, I understand politics, we need to change stuff, we need to make government smaller and bring back opportunities for people and bring back more freedom. And it really resonated with a lot of people in Austria at that time. And we just felt like his name is Frank Stronach, by the way, if you want to look him up. And we felt like, Kristin and I, well, that's such a kindred spirit. We want to connect with Frank, and Frank might be a really good person who could be interested. Basically what we did is we started aligning with that idea first and foremost, and that's what we always do. It for that person, for that being, feeling what connects you with them. And that's what we did for just a few days. We would meditate on it, we would do some research and just feel our way through it until we truly felt the spirit and we felt that we were very connected. And so it wasn't really challenging after that to establish a personal connection to someone who knew him. And that's usually very easy. It doesn't matter who you are feeling drawn to connect to. It's always pretty easy to do once you are in the right place. And so we did connect with his personal assistant. We sent over some, my album, of course, and ideas of what we wanted to do in America music-wise, stuff like that. And we got a response like an hour later. It was really quick, and an invitation to an event that was close by where we lived. And I think it was maybe 2 weeks later. And it was a very synchronistic period, those 2 weeks. And we felt very guided to do certain things. And it immediately came to me. It was like almost like a revelation. Well, write a song, that's what I do, right? I write songs. So I went into my music room, and it took me, I think, 25 minutes. And I had a song called Hand in Hand. And the interesting thing is, and that's, if you research Frank Stronach, is since he moved to North America in the 80s when he was in his 20s and came back later, he's a perfect example of what mashing up languages can do. He speaks German and makes it to a. So Hand in Hand was the perfect title for the song because the word hand is the same in German. You just pronounce it a little different, Hand, but it's the same spelling. And so I wrote that song. I thought it would be the perfect. We went to the event, and an interesting thing had happened. That day, our friends called us and said they had won at a sweepstake, and they won a dinner with Frank. They were 2 out of 10 people that had won a dinner that night with Frank, and we said, well, that's funny because we're going to go to his event tonight, so we're hoping to meet him. And that night we went to the event, and when the event was over, his assistant told us that he had to rush off, that he didn't have time to meet and whatnot. And I just grabbed my guitar and had a hunch and walked up to him and said, well, Mr. Stronach, I just need a minute of your time, please. Who you are? I saw that email. I saw your music. Yeah, sure. Well, he said, listen, well, I'm really in a hurry here, but I'd love to talk. And I said, you know what? I wrote a song for your movement. I think what you're doing, I think what you're wanting to do, I think what you're putting out there is amazing. I think it's the transformation we need. I'd really love to play the song for you. I had my guitar in hand. And he looked at me and he said, well, you know what? I have a dinner. I'm meeting with these people. And I said, I know. My friends are going to be at that dinner. What a coincidence. Of course, there are no coincidences. And Frank looked at me and then looked at Kristin and said, why don't you guys join us for dinner? We're going to, sit down, eat, talk, and then you can play the song for me. And so that's what we did. We had an amazing dinner. We had a lot of fun. Frank told a lot of stories. He's a great storyteller, a very inspiring person. And so after dinner, he said, well, why don't you play us the song that you wrote, and when these moments come, you're exactly where you need to be at the exact right place at the exact right time. And here usually approach these things. None of this was done in a proper way. We always followed our guidance. So I got up, I played the song, everyone loved it, Frank loved it. And so after a minute of silence, he looked at me and said, you know what? Why don't you produce that song, go into the studio, record it, and we're going to use that song. It's great. It's the perfect message. And at that exact moment, I knew something big had happened. Now I couldn't exactly tell what it was. Kristin and I looked at each other, and we both knew something big had just happened. We had no idea how it was going to unfold, and that's the famous headlight analogy. There's the headlights 100 feet ahead of the car. You don't see much further, but you just know there's a destination coming. And so song recorded in Nashville and just did the vocals in Austria, and everyone loved the song. And we knew at that moment in time, first of all, we knew something to do there. And this is the interesting part. Aside from music, being a voice for transformation, being a voice of inspiration, and being part of groups and movements that desire to harmonize this planet was always our thing. That's always what we did. That's always what we desired to do. And so we both felt that there's something there, So long story short, they didn't just take the song. I joined the campaign tour, and I played that song for almost a year, almost 3-4 nights a week. At every campaign stop, we traveled together. It was an amazing time. It was an amazing experience. We connected with amazing people, things that we could have never imagined, people that we would have never met otherwise. I mean, during that time, we even started a movement that have happened from it, and I remember that it felt so purposeful all the way through. And after the elections, when this whole thing, was over and became more quiet, we felt that it was our time to move on and to go to the States. And Frank wasn't just a wonderful human being throughout the process. He was extremely helpful and supportive in helping us in the process and helping us with all assistance you could possibly desire. And so here we are all these years later, living our dream. And Everything started with following a hunch, following intuition, taking the first inspired step, allowing ourselves to do things that in that story. There was this amazing synchronicity that had brought up in the very beginning, had brought up his name and put a seed in us. And then Kristin had this intuition coming out of the meditation. And then a connection was established through friends. So all of these things were synchronistic. All of these things happened in concert together because it was meant to be like that. And the amazing thing here is that when it's meant to be, these things happen very effortlessly. So then all of a sudden, the friend that you might need, in that moment shows up and has the idea, has the connection, that establishes this. Everything that needs to fall into place falls into place. And for these things, you cannot plan. You cannot lay them out. You cannot put them on a blueprint. You have to live them. You have to live your way through them. And it was so inspiring for us just 2 days ago when we talked about it to realize how later played in North America, in Miami and up in Canada, played shows for Frank and his events, amazing big events. And where he's starting, he's just opening up a new all organic store with a restaurant up in Toronto. He has one of the largest organic non-GMO cattle farms in Florida, in Ocala. It's amazing, the spirit. And when spirits that are inspired and spirits that are connected and spirits that feel a greater connection to source, connect with each other, amazing things can happen. And it is, of course, built around music. But whatever your unique purpose, talent, specialty, wish, desire is, your story is built around that. And all you have to do is have the courage to listen to those hunches and to take the inspired action and to never, ever let fear hold you back. I'll tell you something. These people like Frank that have been literally running some of the biggest companies on the planet, they have meetings and meet new people and meet interesting people and people who want something from them all the time. You know what makes the difference? Is when you are sure of what you are there for. When you know that, the presence that you have speaks volumes. It speaks louder than any word that you could say. It's that knowing that you're at the right place at the right time that makes you attractive to the right people, that in turn can make the right things happen. And this is all, of course, a synchronistic event, but it all starts with you. You're the source of these events in your life. Your own presence and knowingness and connectedness is the source of these events. It does not matter what your vision or dream is, and it does not matter how realistic it is to others. None of this matters whatsoever. What matters is that you and you alone know that this is your purpose, know that this is your vision, and then it does not matter how big or small or realistic or unrealistic it is. None of that matters for source. Then you can truly do anything, whether it's the smallest or the biggest thing, and it will not be full of effort. The effort only comes in when you're trying to manipulate things, when you're trying to rush things, when you're trying to push things. That's when the effort comes in. When you allow yourself, and this is something that EUCY said, now pay attention to this. When you allow yourself to jump into the stream of your life, the stream that you created, and that's really important. The river of life is the river that you created. It isn't a river that's already there and you just jump into it. You have created the whole river of your life. When you allow yourself to jump in that river, miraculous things can and will happen. The right people, supporters, friends, family, strangers will show up, will give you a hand, will help you. And you have to know one thing. It's a special thing. People like Frank, who came from literally nothing and built something amazing, something tremendous, 180,000 employees around the world, you know, they always call them self-made people. But Frank would be the first one who says, I'm not self-made. Do you know how many people it took on my journey? How many people I connected with? How many people have a part in this? Yes, it was my vision, but you are never alone in this. You have to know this. What comes from you, that's the core energy. But you attract the right people, and it is the same in our journey. So many moving parts, so many wonderful people that just gave a selfless hand, that just helped in one small or big way, were there and are still there. I'm still experiencing this right now. I'll tell you a wonderful, perfect example. I used to have accounts on all social media platforms, of course, because as an artist, you know, that's Facebook, you have YouTube, you have your Instagram, you have your Twitter. And last year, for no good reason at all I would do is post music stuff and inspirational quotes. Twitter disabled my account. I never found out why, but I don't know how many thousand followers I had, but they disabled it. And so when I just released a new single called "Keep America Great," it's a love song for America, basically. It's my love letter to America, if you will. And I decided that it was a good time to rejoin. Never really dove into it. And so 2 weeks back, I rejoined. Of course, posted the video for my song, being up there of "Keep America Great." We're, I think, at combined over 1,500 retweets and 45,000 video views within just 10 days. And you know what? We did not even invest $1 in promotion. That is just being at the right place at the right time, connecting with people, doing this because you're guided to, because you feel the inspiration, because you feel a divine hand and your own plan connecting beautifully together. That's what this is. That's what this does. Amazing things happen. The parts come together, the people come together, the helping components come together. That's how all of this really works. That's how all of this really works. Inspired Tribe. And a lot of this doesn't happen. Their actions, their presence, and their obedience, because they allow for doubt to be the loudest voice. That's why things don't happen. You, I'm talking to you. You know who you are. You have a tremendous, unique purpose. You are a unique expression of divine consciousness here. You have a purpose the planet can't fulfill, not in the way you can. There's a uniqueness to what you have to offer, to give, to how you can be of service. That is truly unique to you, and only you can do that in your own. It does not matter if how you speak, if what you say hasn't been said like that before. It doesn't matter if you can't find anyone else out there to compare you with, even better than you are, even unique on the outside. Closer. Listen, and if there is an action that you're inspired to take, no matter how illogical it seems, in the context of your daily life, do it, take it, call it, whatever it requires of you, be it, do it, follow it. That's what you can go ahead and you can watch another 10,000 deliver the doer, the haver of all of this. You are at the center of this. It's your energy. It's what you put out that creates all of this. And that's what being in the moment means. That's what being present means. That's what living up to your purpose, your destiny, what you have decided for you means. And I can only tell you, it gets better and better and grander and greater and more exciting every day. because the more you live it, the more you become used to being brave and used to being present, used to being connected. And sooner rather than later, you won't even call it brave anymore. You will just call it present. You'll just call it you. You will live your you-ness. You know, EUCY calls this word you-ness. We love this word. You will live your unique you-ness. That's what the world wants. It's what the world needs. It's what the world is waiting for you to show up in your you-ness. And then anything is possible. Those are my 5 cents. The story, one of our biggest stories that still is, the story is not, it's not over. We're adding chapters every day. It's just exciting to see how it all connects. Let me jump up a little bit, see what you guys are saying. Illy says, trying to find the live stream where he sang that mashup with Man in the Mirror. Well, Illy, I'm not complaining here, but that was another channel that YouTube deleted, my music channel. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure just like this one, it's gonna come back. But a friend of mine that that has very interesting connections told me that, which is clear, I mean, that the various platforms are cross-tracking what you post on other platforms, what you tweet, what you post on Facebook. And if they don't deem your posts, I don't know, systemic enough, then I guess you get it, they put you on a blacklist. And so I don't know why my music YouTube channel was disabled, but we're pretty sure we're going to just like this one. Jewel Pathway says, I really needed this today. Just a while ago, I was on the floor, bawling, feeling like nothing is working out. Okay, so listen, don't beat yourself up. Don't give yourself grief. Don't judge yourself for your situation. When you feel sadness, when you feel whatever it is that you feel, allow it. Because as soon as you allow it to come through, the energy starts to subside, because you cannot be sad and in that state of intense emotion for long. Your body won't sustain it. And then a calmness will come. As long as you fight it, you keep going back and forth. But when you don't fight it, you allow it. And when you allow it, it kind of comes through and leaves you again. And you have to know one thing. Some of the greatest ideas, inspirations came after a dark night of the soul, came after a heavy moment, came experienced over the years. We might have one of these really heavy, dark moments, but something great usually comes out of it, and allow it to come through. Don't linger, but don't push back. And on the other side, there's usually a thought, a feeling, an action, something that comes to you. Just listen to that and trust, because you must be perfectly guided. There's no doubt in our minds. Anna G says, thank you. Well, it's good to see you all, Inspired Tribe. I also wanted to let you know, if you feel like joining the Inspired Tribe, in the way we of course, but we have something really cool that's called the Inspired membership calls. That's Wednesday nights, and this is a weekly thing. And the cool thing about this is that it's a community that is beautifully moving forward with inspired energy, with expansion, purpose, inspiration. It's a really, really wonderful thing. Last week's call was so uplifting for all of us that were in the call. I mean, we started at a really good level, of energy, and then by the end of the call, it was just going through the roof, and we can feel the vibe of that. We do meditations, techniques, whatnot. And if you feel like joining this, send us an email. it's a monthly thing, and you can cancel anytime. But we meet once a week, and it's $69 a month, and that's a really good way to connect and expanding ideas, thoughts, feelings. It's really, really cool. So here's an open invitation. Let us know if you feel like doing that. Angie, yeah, she said amazing. It was amazing. So Inspired Tribe, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for listening to this story. We will, from now and then, when we feel inspired, share more of those stories, because these real life examples are everything that we talk about in perfect action in life, and that's what's most inspiring to for us to hear stories, for us to experience others' stories, and so we like to tell them too sometimes. Thank you for being with us here. Present, your co-creation. Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Standard, that's going to be the next live stream. And on Thursday, we will do a EUCY session. We had to move it to Thursday, but we will do a EUCY session on Thursday. So join us at 2 p.m. Central Standard. If you have questions for EUCY, you can write them down or bring them on Thursday. We'll try to answer as many as possible. And until then, be blessed, be inspired, have a wonderful time. Share your love, share your gift, share your uniqueness, share your purpose. And we'll be here and meet again Thursday, 2 p.m.